Hey guys, Afiq here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. So as you can see, for this time around, I have something a little bit different from my video. So right next to me is the third generation Toyota Caldina wagon. So this particular Caldina is not your regular Caldina. It is the Toyota Caldina GT4 N spec. That's right, that GT4 N spec hides something special under the hood. So without further ado, let's check out this car. And this is ABB Automotive. Hey guys, so a little bit of context about the Toyota Caldina before I start off the video. So the third generation Toyota Caldina was launched in Japan in the year 2000. So the Toyota Caldina can be had with 7 trim levels across 3 engine choices. The base Toyota Caldina 1.8X as well as the 1.8Z features a 1.8 litre 1ZZ-FE 4-cylinder petrol engine. So this engine produces 130 horsepower with 171 Nm of torque. Next up, the Toyota Caldina 2.0Z as well as the 2.0ZT features a 2-litre 1AZ FSE engine that produces 153 horsepower with 198 Nm of torque. So unlike the base 1.8-litre engine, which is only available as front-wheel drive, the 2-litre variant can be had with either front or 4-wheel drive. All Toyota Caldina comes with 4-speed automatic gearbox. Lastly, the Caldina GT4, GT4C spec, as well as the GT4 N spec feature the legendary 3S GTE, which is the car that is shown in this video. This 3 top-of-the-range variant can only be had as a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Okay, so under the hood of this Caldina is what makes this Caldina more special than a regular Caldina. So underneath the hood is the legendary 3S GTE 2-litre engine. So this engine under stock OEM numbers produces 240 horsepower with 320 plus Nm of torque. So this particular engine is mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission through a 4-wheel drive system. Okay, so this car is 4-wheel drive, but the normal Caldina is typically front-wheel drive only. Okay, so in terms of modification, so this owner has put in a Blitz air intake, okay, as well as a tile aftermarket wastegate. And then besides that, you can see that there is a strut bar located at the top. And this particular car, the air intercooler is located at the top of the engine rather than the front. So that's why you will see it has the air scoop. Okay, starting off with the front part of the car. So the Caldina, even though for this third generation, it was launched in the year 2002. So looking at the styling of this car, it still looks quite fresh and modern. So this particular Caldina being the GT4 N, on top here you can see like on the hood there is a hood scoop. This is only available on the Caldina GT4. The other Caldina, which is the 1.8 and the 2-litre NA, does not have this feature. And then looking at the bottom of the car, I do like that this car has a body kit. It has a skirting at the front here as well as a lower splitter. So it does make the car look rather aggressive. And then the grille of the car is painted black, and then you have this triangle logo. So this triangle logo is to represent the Caldina model. So back then, Toyota has this thing where they create a particular logo for each of the vehicles. So Caldina is this triangle logo, and then you have something like the Harrier and the Alphard, which has their own logo. And so the face that you see here is the pre-facelift model. So there is a facelift model that happened sometime in the year 2006. So this is the before 2006. This is the face that you have. Okay, and then the headlight back then is still using the multi-reflector headlight. This original housing for the lower spec and the high spec, there's no difference actually. It's still using the same housing. The only difference is that it's either using halogen or back then is the HID. And then you look lower down, there's also a fog light. Okay, so all Caldina comes standard with the fog light. Other than that, all Caldina pretty much looks the same. Okay, moving towards the side, talking about the wheels. So this particular Caldina, the owner has made some modification to his car. So as you can see right here, this Caldina comes with an 18-inch rim. So this particular rim is called the Wet Spot TC105N. Okay, and it is wrapped in a Continental MC6, so Max Contact 6 tire, which is a grippy tire. Okay, and then as you can see over here, the owner also has upgraded his brake caliper. So this is not your original Caldina caliper. So this particular caliper is upgraded to a 6-pot caliper, which is an amazing brake considering that this is just a passenger car. Okay, so this is the 6-pot ATTR brake caliper. So it is finished in this rather red-orange color. So it really differentiates the brake pad with the car, because the car is blue and the brake pad is red. So you can really see the contrast there. So this owner, in terms of his wheel choices, good choice. Towards the side of the Caldina, as you can see, this car is quite a long car. So it's a wagon shape, yeah, it's a wagon shape. So overall, in terms of the design, it's very low slung like that. Okay, as you can see, low slung. The A pillar is quite raked back, making it to have a very sporty profile. The side mirror has this sort of like design king. You can see over here, like this straight king going towards the side of the mirror. The turning indicator is still on the fender. This car does come in 2002, so you don't have those signal on the side mirror back then. Okay. You do have a very nice set of skirting towards the side, and then back during this time, Toyota had this thing with triangle shape. So you can see towards the C pillar here, this third quarter window, it has this very prominent triangle shape. So all the Toyota during this time had this design feature. If you look at the Ipsum, okay, the Toyota RAV4, they all have this triangle design. But then I would say that on the Caldina, this is the most prominent of all the triangle design. Okay, so again, you have the trim which fit quite nicely on this car. But then this car, towards the back, the owner did not change the caliper, so it's still the stock Toyota Caldina GT4 brake caliper. So in terms of suspension, this Caldina is equipped with a TRD suspension. As you can see, it sits a little bit low to the ground, giving it quite a nice stand, to be honest. The side of the Caldina is very iconic. So when you see one out far, you know immediately that this is a Caldina. And then I cannot stop obsessing over this blue color. Okay, so this shade of blue is just very beautiful, very mesmerizing. So this blue is a factory color. It almost reminds me of the Sonic the Hedgehog color, you know, that cartoon. Yeah, it feels like the same shade of blue. So yeah, I love how this car looks from the side. So moving towards the back of the Caldina, as you can see, the triangle theme continues on. You have this very big triangle rear tail lamp. Okay, so just like the side, it is very prominent. So this rear tail light is the pre-facelift model. So the facelift model is slightly tweaked, okay, and then it's finished in that white smoke finish. Okay, so this is the facelift, but the pre-facelift is just like this. Okay, it is just completely red. And then towards the bottom, you do have the reverse light. Okay, so this is the reverse light. It's not here, it's here. Okay, it's on the bumper. Alright, so this particular Caldina is the GT4 N. So you can tell by this badging. Okay, GT4 N. Okay, so the whole thing makes this Caldina a special Caldina. So towards the side, you have the Caldina name. Okay, and then you have a rear backup camera, and you do have an antenna at the top. Okay, and then the wiper is mounted on the glass. Okay, you have a body kit as well as a large exhaust. The one thing I like about the Caldina is that being a station wagon, it is actually quite practical. So this car, even though it's quite sporty, it has a lot of boot space. So as you can see, okay, it has a massive boot. Okay, so this car appeals both the heart and the brain. Practicality, and then the rest of the car, your heart. So overall, this back end still stylish today, even though after almost 20 years. Yeah, you basically cannot tell that this car is almost 20 years old. So shooting this car, I'm also shooting this video with a friend. So I have a friend with me here. Say hi, this is Ryan.
Hello.
Yes, so this is Ryan.
Check out my YouTube channel at Ryan's Drive.
Yeah, so Ryan is also a YouTuber. I will put the link to his channel in the description. So do check out his channel as well, because he is also reviewing this car. Yeah, and he's reviewing it from the driver's point of view. So that will be interesting. So yeah.
Good car, good car.
Yes,
good car.
it's a good car. Very good car. So hi guys, so I'm driving the Toyota Caldina GT4 N Spec for a while now. I've been driving it for a while. I gotta say, getting into this car, like my first impression of it, I thought it was gonna be a stiff car, because considering that it has a TRD suspension and it's quite lower to the ground, you know, on paper it has the spec to be like a performance car. But then surprise surprise, when I got into the car, it's actually quite civilized. That TRD suspension, which I thought was hard, was actually quite compliant and quite comfortable. Going over like road regulation or speed bump, it's not as jarring as I thought it would be. Like, you know, some sporty suspension, when you go over pothole or speed bump, it just what they call shakes really badly, like the entire car shakes really badly. But this one is surprisingly compliant. I can actually see myself driving this car as a daily. That's how comfortable it is. And then you're just cruising, like right now I'm cruising at 60 km/h. It really is, you don't even know that underneath this car you have 240 horsepower under the hood. Okay, it feels like your regular 1.5 liter Vios or CT, like that. Yeah, and then but then that suspension, even though it's a little bit of on the soft side, if you do push this car around the corner, it does handle quite good. Okay, because this car at the front you do have MacPherson strut, and then in the rear is an independent. And then this particular Caldina is equipped with four-wheel drive system. So in the corner, when you accelerate, it doesn't feel understeery. Yeah. So in terms of like chassis comfort and handling, if you are a hardcore, you will find that this setup is a little bit too soft for track use. But for daily use, and you wish to just be, you know, like having spirited driving in the weekend, I would say this setup is very relevant. I would use this setup on my own car actually, because it's a nice balance of you want to be spirited and comfortable at the same time. In terms of driving feel, the steering, okay, the steering is still using a hydraulic system steering, so none of the EPS modern stuff. So it's actually heavy, but heavy with a feel. You get what I mean? Like, it's not what do you call, you know what the front wheel is doing. It's not numb at all, which, to be honest, like I've been driving a lot of new cars nowadays, this is the one thing that I miss about the olden day steering wheel. Like, there's a feel of connection between the driver and the front wheel, you know. Newer cars, the EPS system, it got better over the years. Like they really tuned it to give more driving feel, but it still cannot beat that hydraulic system feel, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so overall, the steering on this car, it still has that old feeling, which I like. Yeah. So I'm in a straight line now, so I'm gonna full throttle. Okay, so under the hood of this Caldina, it's not an ordinary engine. So this is the legendary 3S GTE engine, turbocharged. Okay, so OEM spec, this car produces 240 horsepower with 320 plus Newton meters of torque. So it is paired to a 4-speed automatic, and power is sent through a four-wheel drive system. And I gotta say, this powertrain, I can drive this powertrain though the entire day. It's just so much fun to drive, you know. When you accelerate, the lag, there is a tiny bit of lag before it kicks in, but when it kicks in, the power, I'm addicted to this power. And then when you let go of the throttle, you have the blow-off valve, which is it's just so loud. You know, it creates this sound which is just so addictive. Like, it makes me want to accelerate this car more and more, you know, every time when I drive it. So that's the best thing about this car actually. It's like it has a nice balance between performance and practicality. So if you see the shape of the car, it's a wagon, it's quite comfortable, but at the same time, under the hood, it has a wheeling engine, it has a wheeling drivetrain, it has a good chassis, okay? So under normal driving condition, it can be very civilized, but if you want to be spirited, it allows you. Now, which I think cars nowadays lacking that character, you know? Now accelerating. There you go. The blow valve, so addictive. Yeah. In terms of like noise insulation, again, I'm quite surprised by the noise insulation in this car. You know, like this car is back in it came out back in 2002, like the first generation of the third generation model when it first came out. It's quite what do you call that? It's quite silent. Not to say silent lah. I mean, you still hear road noise, but you don't really hear much of wind noise. Okay, only like this particular Caldina, the owner did have a sports exhaust on. So when you accelerate, you can hear the engine, but then it's a good sounding engine. I'm not complaining. Yeah. So yeah, overall, it's a nice car to drive. Yeah, a nice car to drive. A lot of character, I would say. It has that very bassy sound when you accelerate. Yeah. To put into perspective, my mother's car, which is a Mercedes-Benz A-Class AMG Sport, so it's a regular A-Class with AMG setup. That car feels much more stiffer than this car, but in terms of handling, I would say it's on par. So this tells me that this particular Caldina, like the way it's been tuned, you still can have comfortable ride and not sacrifice handling. Yeah, so there is a nice balance there. So it's good that Toyota managed to combine these two features. And then I'm not surprised either, like this car is one of the first Toyota to be tuned at Nürburgring, that the very long track in Germany. So after driving this car, that tuning setup really shows this car is very compliant, very comfortable, yet it can take corner like a boss. So yeah, kudos to Toyota for able to manage this feat in the year 2002. So with that being said, I feel like the Toyota Caldina is soon to be a collector's item, especially with this top of the range GT4 N Spec, because as you know, this is the last Caldina. They stopped making this model in 2008, I think. Yeah, I want one. I want one so bad. I'm poisoned. Yeah. First impression of this interior, I love this interior. It has a nice combination of sporty quality as well as, I can say, comfort. Yeah, so in front of me, the dashboard, after 20 years, it still looks quite modern. Of course, this being a JDM, a Japan domestic market, there are a lot of Japanese icon everywhere. Okay, so sitting position, I would say this sitting position is very sporty. Okay, so the steering, you can only adjust it for tilt, but not telescopic. But it's common, cars back then has limited adjustability. So this particular model being the GT4 N Spec, you do get special edition stuff, such as this Recaro seat. So this Recaro seat is only available on the N Spec. And then as you can see throughout the car, it has a little bit of this blue trim on the dashboard, on the steering wheel, on the the door trim, even on the gear knob. Besides that, you also have a sunroof. So this is OEM from the factory. So this sunroof can be tilted and slide, which is a nice touch. Not really that practical here in Malaysia, but then in Japan, you know, it's colder weather, it's fine. So overall, the layout is quite nice. Over here, you have a little bit of a storage, okay, 2 cup holder over here, and then in front here also you have a little bit of ashtray, okay. And then this particular car also, even if you put into drive, okay, under 10 km/h, there is a camera located at the front of the car that sees the front part of the car left and right. So this helps with your blind spot when you're coming out from a junction. Yes, this camera is a bit dated, the resolution is a bit fuzzy, but then yeah, it's good to know that back then you have this feature. And then this car comes with automatic air conditioning. Personally, for me, I'm not a fan of automatic aircon. I feel like every time I switch on the auto aircon, it went to full blast. Other notable features about this car, okay, you have buttons on the steering wheel. Okay, the button is to control the camera just now. And then going into reverse, I do have a backup camera. The resolution, yeah, it's a bit fuzzy, but it's still better compared to the front. And what I like about the camera is that if you turn the steering wheel, it has trajectory. So it has both distance and trajectory. The rest of the dashboard, you do have a center armrest. It's not leather wrapped and it's a bit hard, but then I'm okay with that. The dashboard is high quality plastic, and yeah, I like the overall layout of this dashboard. And then the power window for all 4 doors is automatic. And then up here you do have a rear view mirror. It is attached to the front windshield, so it's not attached to the upper headline. Other than that, sun visor, and then there's a lot of Japanese description all over the car. You get dual front airbags, still no side airbag yet during that time. Yeah, and then you have a glove box there. Besides that, convenient wise, you do have a power folding outside mirror. Okay, you do have a power folding outside mirror. So besides that, this owner also installed in some DEFI meter on top of his dashboard. So aftermarket, there's 3 of them. So number 1 is to control your boost, sorry, not control, it tells your boost gauge, and then it also tells your temperature and also oil pressure. Okay, so 3 of the main thing that typically tuners have in their car. So I like that he put it nicely on the dashboard. It doesn't look too, how to say, it doesn't look too aftermarket. Okay, it just fit nicely on the dashboard there. So right now I'm sitting at the back seat of the Caldina. So despite the Caldina having this slug sporty roof design, I still have a decent space actually. Okay, this front seat is arranged to my driving seat, which is I'm 165 cm of height. As you can see, I have loads of leg room. Okay, loads of leg room. And then yeah, the seat is quite reclined. Yeah, I have actually no issue sitting at the back of this, despite having that lower roof. So amenities wise, you do have a pair of cup holder. Okay, over here you have a cup holder. And then you do have a place to throw your rubbish. And then this is a thing of older Toyotas. Newer Toyotas typically don't have this. I remember like the early 2000, late 1990s Toyota, you have a place to throw your rubbish. Okay, and then you do have a center armrest, but no cup holders. The cup holders is behind the center console. You do have a little bit of transmission tunnel over here because this particular car is a 4-wheel drive system, so you do have a transmission tunnel that goes to the back. Seat material is still fabric, which is the same material as the front, even the same color scheme as well. But as you can see, there are no map pockets. Okay, there are no place to store your stuff except for the side of the door. Okay, at the side of the door. So yeah, oh, the door handle is metal chrome. Yeah, and then the lock is on the door, not at the top, it's at the door. So yeah, the back seat of the Caldina still very comfortable and adult worthy. So with that, we come to the end of this video. If you like that video, do give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel as well as hitting the little small bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post something new on my channel. I would like to say thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, and have a nice day.